All right, Rockets and Giants. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Wilson, and I'm the principal at St. Roch. I am currently on an interview with our joint shared seminarian, Sam Hansen, and also the assistant principal at Holy Name, Mr. Pat Miles. And we're just going to be asking Sam some questions about his vocation or his calling. So, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where'd you go to grade school? Where'd you go to high school? What activities were you involved in? Hobbies, things like that.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I'm Sam Hansen. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Well, to start out, I went to St. Roch Grade School, so not too far from Holy Name, still kind of in the same neck of the woods. And you might not know this, but my dad was the principal there my whole time there. So while I was I went there K through 8. While I was there, let's see, I played in 4 sports, I think, maybe 5. I was football, baseball, basketball, and wrestling. So yeah, a lot there with sports. Spell Bowl was a big thing for me. I was on the state championship teams of 2012 and 13. Yeah, I did the spelling bee and the geography bee. Those were pretty big for me. We had Quest for Excellence and Super Quiz. So really just hopped on everything I could while I was at St. Roch and kind of took that attitude with me to high school, focused a little bit more on my schoolwork. I ended up throughout high school focusing only on wrestling. That became my sport. I gave a considerable amount of time to that. I ended up getting second in the state my senior year, so that was exciting. I took quite a few AP classes. I was involved with student government. We organized dances and such. And let's see, I'm trying. High school just seems like so long ago, but yeah, that was kind of my high school experience right there. And then I guess my vocation kind of went through a lot of turns throughout my time because I actually first got the idea of priesthood in 7th grade. I'd say that's the year I'd give because as you know, as we're doing right now, nothing much has changed. The Catholic grade schools have done a great job of promoting vocations, of putting that in front of you. Are you called to be a priest? Are you called to be a deacon? Are you called to be a nun? I'd see all this promotional material around our school, and finally in 7th grade, I remember Mr. Tyndall, my English teacher at the time, he gave us this assignment where we had to pick out a career, and our essay was going to be a research paper on my future career. And I remember picking in this order: engineer, marine biologist, and I said, you know what, heck, I'll just put priest on the end of it. So I ended up getting my third option, and looking into it, I just got really interested in it. And then we had a field trip to St. Meinrad, and then another trip we could sign up for to go to Bishop Simon Brute, where I'm at now. And after visiting both those places, I just kind of fell in love with everything. And then, visiting Notre Dame made things interesting for me too, because I got to see the seminary up there as well. And yeah, through high school, I said, let's go. I want to be a priest. Yeah, so went through that. And as I said, I was focused a lot on my academics, on sports, through high school, so I never really gave it enough thought to really commit to the seminary. So I ended up taking the opportunity to wrestle. I went to Wabash College. It's a small liberal arts college up in Crawfordsville, about an hour away. And while I was there, I began to realize how foundational my discernment of the priesthood was to my personal spiritual life. That just thinking about, just recognize, like, even when I was young and my faith life wasn't super deep, I didn't have such a close relationship to God. I recognized how important the priest's role in a community was, and how much he brought together a school and families. And that recognition is really what made me realize that my Christian faith did that for me, and celebrating the Eucharist and participating in the sacraments solidified that, because that's how God's grace works, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that carried with me to college. I didn't, there was no shoe that really fit when it came to, considering all sorts of careers. I was thinking about finance. I was thinking about logistics. I don't know, all sorts of things, but the priesthood question remained. And after talking to a spiritual director, he said, hey, if this is something that's sticking with you, then you should consider going to seminary. So I went for it. I trusted his advice. After all, he's the priest and he knows this sort of thing, right? So I ended up, after 2 years, transferring from Wabash. No bridges burned. I'm still in touch with a lot of people there. It was a great time. But now I'm a junior in college, but I'm a new seminarian. I go to Marian College as a junior, but I am in my first of 6 years as in priestly formation for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis.
That is excellent, Sam. Excellent, excellent. So tell us at Bishop Brute, what's a day in the life? If the kids wanted to know, what's a day in the life of someone who lives at Bishop Brute? What's it look like?
All right. Well, Bishop Brute is kind of unique. It's not the school itself. We don't go to classes here. We get formation from the priests and they instruct us in our daily lives and stuff, but we go to classes at Marian. So I guess the closest comparison, and I hear people say it's lots of fraternity. It's kind of it's our priestly brotherhood. We, as we go through the academic rigors of going to college at Marian University, we, as a group of 4 priests, and then about 30 or so men my age, college age, just share our thoughts and where we are with thinking about possibly being a priest one day. So obviously that entails frequent prayer and daily mass. So every day we go to mass, and if it's not in the morning, it's in the afternoon. And we'll do our prayers that we do. We have a specifically guided outline of prayers that priests do called the Divine Office, and you can look into that for yourself. So every morning and evening, and then occasionally we'll have it at night too. So that always is something in the morning. We, eat together for breakfast and dinner. We have lunch on campus, go to classes throughout the day. But also here and there in our week, we privately meet with priests. So we have a spiritual director who we just pour ourselves out to. It's the same privacy of a confessional. We just say, like, if anything's going on with our lives, any difficult thoughts we're having, we share it with this guy, so we can really gauge where we are as a person that's potentially going to be a priest one day. And then we're also in touch with the staff of Brute that is kind of analyzing us in a way. They're like, I think I'm like a coach. So your spiritual director is kind of like your dad. Like if you ever need to talk about something, father and son, you talk to your spiritual director. While the formators are your coach. They're the ones that live in the same building with you, that watch you as you pray, develop your faith, and they're there to guide you and help you be the best priest you can possibly can one day. Nice. So throughout the week you'll meet with those guys, but other than that, there's a really strong emphasis on just living the community life. We play sports together. We watch movies together. As I said, we eat together. We'll have long conversations with each other. And it's a very casual setting with the other men discerning priesthood, but so much growth happens there just being around other men that are, thinking of such a serious life commitment, such a specific life commitment. So that's a snapshot of what the Brute life is like.
That's perfect. That's really good. Sam, what advice do you have if there are younger people who are maybe thinking that this is a calling that they might have? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I have plenty of advice. I'd say the biggest first step is prayer, always that prayer. And that includes sacraments. But the call to a priesthood is in itself, we call it a vocation, which means to be called. If you are vocated to, anything in life, whether that's to being married, to being a priest, to getting a certain job, to, partaking in some volunteer work or whatever you're doing in life, is because God is calling you. And that's because you have a relationship with God. We nourish that relationship with God by taking quiet time before and after, or even during our day, to, lift our minds in prayer, and to also attend to, where the grace is poured out for us, how God physically touches us by offering us his body and blood and mass. And something that's often forgotten is the confessional. We are imperfect beings, and everyone in seminary, even the priests, are imperfect beings that sin every once in a while. So we go to God and the confessional for healing. And I guess a more technical thing I can entail is that don't if you don't have a vocation to the priesthood, don't be private about it. Don't keep it a secret. Don't that's not a light that you want to put under a bushel basket, as the gospel says. Something that really helped me in high school was when I was thinking about priesthood. I was very unabashed of it. I know it would have social implications that would mean people being skeptical if I ever really, wanted to ask a girl out or anything like that. If I ever wanted to expand or consider anything besides priesthood, everyone, looked at you a different way, obviously, because you were, considering such a serious thing. But when you extend that part of yourself to other people, well, first of all, they pray for you, but they think about you as a pastoral figure, and they look to you and what will you be like as one of these crucial community leaders that we so simply call father. And yeah, just a big part of it is because priesthood is such a public and communal figure. Make the very early days of that calling a public and communal aspect, because it's an emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to lie, but having friends and people that care about you that you can depend on is what helps you out. And then the most concrete thing I can say is tell your priests. They went through that process. They went through the rigors of formation. No one got ordained day one.
Right.
So yeah, just be open with that, because the people, the priests that know what that's like, that know what a priestly vocation looks like, are going to be the best people that are going to be able to help you.
Excellent. Well, Sam, I can
So
say
Sam,
wholeheartedly. I'm sorry, Mr. Miles, go ahead.
Sam, I was just going to ask one thing. I mean, we know you real well because obviously we're related to you, but my question for you is, I mean, tell us a little bit though about, like, I know all the work that you do in school and what you're studying and the community you live in, but what are some of the hobby things that you still do? I know that you mentioned before that you were wrestling, but, like, I mean, do you music? I mean, what kind of things do you do to entertain yourself besides just school stuff?
Yeah, as you know, seminarians, we don't just walk around with our hands folded in constant prayers. We're not monks, but we're close to it, I guess. Um, I don't know. It's been weird since I've retired from wrestling. That was kind of something that took up a lot of my life. Anyone who plays a sport knows that you have to commit to it. So that was a big thing for me. Ever since then, I've taken up running quite a bit. I go and jog around Marion's campus. That's a good exercise for me. I'll lift weights every once in a while. It's always fun to do. When I'm feeling tired, I'll settle down and read a book. I have quite a few I'm working on right now. There's one called A Long, Long Way I'm in the middle of right now. Here's my bass guitar.
Very nice.
Within reach of my room, so I can settle down and play it every once in a while. My dad was you all know he's a big music guy, so I have a speaker I plug into, and just learn bass lines for rock and roll. It's just another thing I do. As I said, we community aspect's a big thing at Brute. There's a lot of guys that play basketball and soccer, so I'll do that pretty frequently. And yeah, I'm not like super committed to like one particular hobby. We have a few guys like that. There's like a guy that likes to carve wood here. Some guys that read quite a bit, but yeah, there's just a lot of opportunities for me to, just be casual at the end of a day of, academic and spiritual formation. So yeah, that's quite a bit of it.
Well, Sam, I obviously, I was at St. Roch the whole time that you were at St. Roch, and it's been a pleasure to watch you evolve and to watch you grow. I remember when you were younger and you were talking about the possibility of, life as a priest. And I appreciate the fact that you did share that with all of us so that we can kind of share that journey with you and to encourage you along the way and to be here for you. It makes me so proud to see where you are, where you've come from. I know your parents are proud. All of St. Roch is proud. That this is the life that you're discerning, and you just know that we always have our full support and our full love. We're always going to be here for you. We think you're a wonderful person, a remarkable person. I love that we got to do this and that other kids get to see the greatness that is Sam Hansen, and hopefully they can just pull a little bit away from this, whether their vocation, like you said, is to the priesthood or whether it's to something else, but just your drive and your determination and your love for others and your love for God is what I think is important for everybody to pull from this. So thanks for taking the time to be here with us.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. You're welcome. Mr. Miles, anything to add, or I'm going to go ahead and.
Sam, I just wanted to say the same thing. Know that you're being prayed for here by the Holy Name community. You're one of our adopted seminarians. I know that you are in our prayers of the faithful on a regular basis here at Mass. I know our classes pray for you and stuff like that. And as a cousin, you make our family very proud. You're an inspiration for our kids and a role model for everybody. And it's just great to know that, we have somebody in our family that, has this deep love of God and wants to give to other people and stuff. And it just means a lot that you were able to get on here today with both of us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. This is something I, obviously look forward to. We're not going out and seeing people much right now, but people like you is who I'm doing this for. Yeah, I just felt so much love from my community and my family, especially people like yourselves growing up. And that's what the gospel calls us to, just to give that back. So thanks for being there for me all the time. I appreciate it. And it's so glad to talk to you today.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
All right, Sam.
Really appreciate you taking
Take care of yourself, buddy.
All right. God bless. Have a great day.
You too. Bye,
Happy
Sam.
Catholic Schools Week too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam.